Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we are looking at kind of an unusual helmet, not particularly valuable helmet, but an unusual one nonetheless. This is for all intents and purposes, a German Stahlhelm, typical of what you would see in World War II, but it is actually not a World War II helmet. It is a post-war helmet used by the German border police, which would actually, and I'm gonna completely butcher this, but it's the Bundesgrenzschutz, or BGS. So we'll just call them the BGS from here on out. They were basically the German border patrol, border police, and they were equipped as a sort of paramilitary force because they did patrol the border along with East Germany, and you never know what you might find. So they were fairly heavily armed. They were not like typical, cops that you would just see, or border patrol armed with a handgun. They were definitely a paramilitary force, and they used helmets that were actually very reminiscent of the World War II Stahlhelms. So collectors have given these a number of different names. M35/53 seems to be the kind that is most commonly given to these. I'm not really sure what the official designation was, but there are a number of different variants. You will find ones that have vent holes. This one does not, which denotes it as a later production helmet. You will actually find original World War II helmet bodies, which have been reconditioned and recolored into this typical green color. This one actually has the remains of some sort of writing on the front that's been kind of crossed out, but it looked like it was a unit number perhaps at one point. It also has a generous amount of just dust on it because it is a rough textured finish, which you can see just by kind of looking at it, which you would not typically see in a lot of German World War II helmets. Were smooth finish. This one does have this very sandpapery type finish, and that's very typical of what you're going to see with German BGS helmets. Otherwise, for all intents and purposes, it is pretty much the typical Stahlhelm. This one does not have the vent holes, as I pointed out. And these were actually used from right after World War II all the way up until the 1990s, which is kind of interesting because the German military actually used sort of a variant of the US M1 helmet. They did not use the Stahlhelm for obvious reasons, but yet their border patrol kept using these for a long, long time. And it just kind of begs the question of why. That I'm not sure. But when you actually take a look at the underside and the liner of this, you'll see that it's a very modern kind of liner. You've got a single point of attachment right there with a screw. You've got your typical German 8-tongued liner in here. Actually, is that 8? Yeah, that's 8. I can barely count to 8 sometimes. And a typical chin strap held on with swivel bales, which this one's a little bit tight because this is a pretty new helmet. So this one didn't see a lot of service, saw a little bit of service, and you will actually find most of these in pretty nice shape. They did not seem to be issued all that much. So as you can see, this liner is in like new condition, and the only stamp that is obvious on it is a 58/61, which would be the size, and the markings are going to be here on the back skirt of the helmet. You're going to have LS for Lindemann and Schnetzer, I believe. So that's going to be an LS. You're also going to see that LS in a stylized circle format sometimes, just kind of depends. And then you've got LS dash, and I believe that's a 60, which would denote the helmet shell size. So manufacturer, helmet shell size, and then that number is going to be, I believe, the year of manufacture, so 1959. So this would denote it as a 1959 manufactured helmet. and really has not seen much service. There are a number of variants of these. You'll find post-war ones which will have vent holes. Some do, some don't. You're going to find liners that are different. You're going to find chin straps that are different. Some of the paint scheme can be a little bit different, but most all are going to be green, like this one. But it's not a helmet that it seems like a lot of people know about, and it's a really interesting piece of history. If you collect Cold War militaria, you can actually get into one of these at a fairly reasonable price, and they are available here and there. You can definitely keep your eyes out, and you could get a very, very nice example of one of these for not a whole bunch of money. So just something to perhaps put on your wish list if you're looking to expand your Cold War collection of helmets. This is also a very, very quality made helmet. It has got a rolled edge like the old 1935 or M35 variants. So again, you know, German quality. It's a pretty heavy, definite combat helmet, not just a light little police helmet. And just a really, really interesting and kind of unappreciated part of the Cold War. As always, remember to like and subscribe. If you've got one of these, I'd love to hear about it. And make sure to check for further content. Thanks for watching.